Sorry. Hello, this is Dr. Kelleher, and we are going to be hosting the GA info session tonight. And we'll be starting in a few minutes. Make sure that everyone has gotten in. Want to make sure that you can see the screen that I have on. That's going to do our presentation. Is everyone able to see this? Or if not, I'll try again. Can everyone see that yet? We'll have to talk a little bit about some guidelines. Everyone's going to be coming in, and please be muted. If you have any questions, we have a moderator who is in the chat room. That's Ebonice Lamar, the House Dean for Fisher Hassenfield. She's going to be in there. Yes, we can hear you. Great. And you can see my screen. Thank you so much. We appreciate that feedback. We are recording this session so that in case you do have to jump out or do anything, we have this session and we'll be posting it on our YouTube channel as well as our website. And we're just going to give it like 1 or 2 more minutes to make sure that people could get in, and then we'll get started. All right. We have a few people. We'll give it 1 more minute and then we'll get started. If you have just joined us, this is the GA Graduate Associate Info Session. We're hosting virtual from College Houses and Academic Services. We welcome you. Excited to have you here. A few guidelines as we go through. I have muted everyone and video off. Please keep both items off as we go through this webinar. If you have questions, go into the chat room. Please turn off your videos. Keep your videos turned off and your audio. If you have any questions, please go into the chat room, and that's where we're going to post questions. Ebonice Lamar is there right now. If I could have everyone go there right now and just go ahead and just say hi, introduce yourselves really quick, and then we'll get started. As you post questions in the chat room, Ebonice will be answering them. I will read the questions out loud as well as read the answers. Since we are recording this, we want to make sure other individuals will be able to capture the information that is said over this webinar. So thank you. Ebonice has introduced herself. If all the people can go into the chat room and just go ahead and just say hi, introduce yourselves. Continue those introductions. And again, reminder, keep your video and sound muted throughout this webinar. So thank you as people are coming in. And as you continue doing those introductions, I'll get started our presentation. All right. So again, welcome so much. My name is Dr. Lulu Kelleher. I am the Director for First Year Houses and Training for College Houses and Academic Services. I oversee the selection process. Ebonice Lamar, who's our House Dean for Fisher and Hassenfield, is also on the committee for selection, and she is your chat room moderator. We're excited to have you here tonight. So we are doing these who's right now. We're doing our introductions, usually in person. We go around, we ask some questions. So go into the chat room, introduce yourself, and that's where you'll be able to pose your questions as we go through this webinar. So we want to begin talking about why become a graduate associate in the college houses and academic services at the University of Penn. And we feel it's best that actually our own staff uses their voice and knowledge to share this information about why they became a GA. So we're going to start with the first video about rewards.
I think my favorite moment was with a resident last year when they confided something in me that they hadn't told anyone else, and it felt like a really great moment of mentorship and trust building and relationship building. It's been rewarding in the sense that the more time I've put into the role, the more I've gotten out of it. There are so many different skills, but I would say one of the biggest ones is definitely learning how to communicate and really listen to our residents, especially when residents are going through a tough time, being able to actively listen to them and then helping them and showing empathy and showing that we are also going through similar things, and then directing them to different resources or just being a great friend or mentor to them. I think that's a big skill that anyone can take away.
I'm excited about potentially mentoring students and helping them go around college, helping them, essentially get what they want in terms of like getting certain clubs, advice on like internships, stuff like that, grad school.
When I was a second year, my RA, she's now my best friend, and that was probably the most memorable experience. To this day, she's one of the most important people in my life.
And it says RA on that, but obviously it's GA as well. Our GA positions are similar to the RA positions. They're exactly the same positions. It's just your status of academic standings that you are at the university. So next we're going to have a video regarding the benefits of becoming a GA.
So I think being an RA helps you develop new relationships with people, especially when there's a different power dynamic in it, and it helps you to sort of navigate those situations. You have people that you're meeting for the first time that are house deans or faculty fellows that are above you. You have freshmen or upperclassmen who are kind of below you per se in the hierarchy of where you're reporting to. So you have to balance those relationships, and that's important in any sphere, in the corporate world, in the medical world, in the academic world. You also have this ability to sort of deal with unexpected conflicts, and you learn how to keep your calm and composure when things get stressful or tough.
Oh, there's no reason why I wouldn't want to return. I mean, the experience I had my first year was absolutely incredible. One, I got to touch the lives of my residents and those in Ware, which is extremely rewarding given all the work that we put into it, but also the community that I've built with my other RA friends, other RA and GA friends, and with my house dean, it just feels like home. So coming back to that and being a part of that community again is an invaluable experience. It's definitely something that defines my experience at Penn and that I'm going to remember for years after this.
Wonderful. So let's talk about the what's about the position. So as a graduate associate, you have a lot of benefits that come with the position. Obviously, you have the housing that's getting provided to you. You have a meal allowance of 150 meals over 2 semesters, along with a dining dollars of $400 a year. And then you have access to programming funds to do the different types of programs that you would want to attend, as well as your residents. Additionally, each house also has house programming, additional other resources that the GAs and RAs benefit from. Lastly, you gain great leadership and team experiences by serving as an RA and GA. So I'm going to give you some information about when and our process. And so we already have our applications open right now. I've seen some of you in the chat room. I recognize your names. So we're excited that you have applied for the position. We have until May 22nd to conclude our process. The way that the process goes is similar to like the job market. You apply to a position and you're in the active pool. If a college house, we have 12 college houses. If one of the houses staff is interested in your candidacy, they will reach out to you to schedule an interview. After the interview, if they're interested in your candidacy, they will extend an offer. You may get offers from multiple houses. We are not a centralized process where it's only one offer, one interview, Multiple houses could be interested in your candidacy for the different skill sets that you bring to the house. So you might have multiple interviews and multiple offers on the table. Again, it concludes May 22nd. If you don't have an interview or you did not get hired by that time period, you stay in the active pool up to a year. We do have positions that open up during the summer, during the year. So being in the active pool is still to be in consideration. We wanted to talk about recommendation, and from here we're going to actually go over to look at the RAGA app. So recommendations. So you're responsible to recruit who would be a recommender for you. We have a recommendation form that you will send to a link to your recommender, and they will fill that form out. The recommender that we encourage you to ask them early, to let them give it a heads up that there will be a form that you'll be sending them a link to a form. You will not be able to receive an offer into your recommendations on file, so it's important that you review with them that timeline. And what the form is going to talk about is asking about dependability, integrity, communication, mentoring, equality, creativity, and teamwork. So you want to have someone who can speak on your behalf on those skill sets. So where can you go apply? So we're going to go right now over to the website and look at that. As we do that, I'm going to go back into the chat room and see if there's any questions so far. Okay. No questions yet so far. We have people just introducing themselves. Again, thank you, welcome. And Ebonish wanted to re-articulate that the RAs and GAs have the same job functions. So there's no differences in regarding the job responsibilities. Graduate associates do have more benefits in the sense of they get to stay here during the break periods and in the summer if you're a returning staff member. All right. We are now at the website. Give me a thumbs up if you can see our website. Let me make this bigger. I can see it. Excellent. Thank you. It's hard to know. So thank you so much. So here is our website, and I am going to put this right into our chat room so you can follow along as we go along. So here in our website, it has information regarding our application. It talks about our 12 college houses, different type of positions we have. We have additional videos for you to watch about what it means and why we love being an RA that you can watch later. You take your mouse up to the next button that says Next, Becoming a GA. There, scroll down. It has more videos, information regarding our GAs who like to be spotlighted regarding their positions. We do want you to understand you should look at the job description and contract. This is a very important document that outlines the responsibility of the position. This is a residential position. So when we have our students in the buildings, you are responsible for them. And so we have a couple of information here regarding the general expectations. You're not to accept additional employment or be having a full-time position besides being a student. You are to be a full-time student, and then the GA position is your second position. If there is an additional employment or part-time position that you'd like to be inquiring about, that's something that you would talk about with your house dean. Some people do have TA positions or something additionally with their graduate work. That is something with your academics. We're talking about outside your academic responsibilities regarding employment. GAs must attend all the fall training and orientation. Move-in is August 14th and goes through August 31st. We also have a winter training day that we call Winter Summit, and we have additional in-services that are done centrally as well and by your house. There's information regarding like move-in. You're required to live where we reside. You're required to have a cell phone. At this point, I think everyone has that. Has more information. So this is a very important document for you to review and make sure that you understand regarding the expectations and the job description. So please take time to read this, especially before you do an interview. Going back to the website here, we have more information on this page regarding the facts about the GA position. We have roughly 123 GA positions in our system. Often a common question people ask is how many positions are open? We have 73 returners And so if you just do the math, you can see that's about 50-ish GA positions open in the system. So that kind of gives you an idea of what is open for new staff coming up next year. We also have our policy regarding academic standings for you to review. And then you see FAQs. This is a very important area that gives you lots of information that you might not find right away in the contract, or you need some clarification. One thing we want to make sure that you understand that we report to Student Financial Services your position as an RA and GA and appointment. So you should seek them out if you have any concerns about the package that you'll be receiving from the university and the impact that the RA/GA position has on that package. Additional questions are listed down here as well. All right, let's go to the application. We're going to click one more time. We have here is the GA advisory approval form. This is a form that must be part of your application process before to be considered. And you might have assigned an academic advisor. You may not have an assigned academic advisor yet. You can have your program coordinator complete this bottom half of this form. You fill up the top form and you send it to them. A lot of people ask about the signature. They could do an e-signature at the bottom as well, or they could sign it and then take a picture and then submit it to you. There's more information here. This is our GA info session that we did last month. And then we're going to go ahead and get into the application. Oops, wrong place. Let me click one more, wrong button. Apply now. All right, we get into, oh, look, I didn't finish signing my stuff. We restart. So I had been in the application and I didn't finish completing it. So it had a memory of where I stopped. So that's something that will happen for you too if you happen to stop in the application. My recommendation is always to complete the application right away, so you do not need to be worrying about it if it stays open in a tab or a window. All right, we're in the application. Any questions so far before we move on? Right, as you have questions, all right, here we go. Is it okay if my recommendations is submitted before the rest of my application? Great question. So yes, often people send that link as they're completing the application, and the recommenders get it done ahead of time. So it just needs to be completed before an offer can be put forth. So that's a great question. Keep those questions coming. I will, and Ebonice will manage that as I go through the application. So you click into the link, and this is held on Qualtrics. And here it tells you exactly what's part of the application requirements. You need to have a resume or CV, your letter of interest. In that letter of interest, so some people ask how long should that be? 1 or 2 pages. It really should highlight your skill set and experiences as it relates to the position and why you're interested in the position. You could also put in here if there's a certain population of students you like to work with or that you believe you have a skill set for. Then as also part of the application, you have essays, and we'll show you what those essays are. And then you have the advisor approval form, and then the recommendation form that needs to be submitted by a recommender. You see this link here? You're going to be copying that link and sending it to your recommender. And this is the recommendation form for them to complete online. They do have the option, as they go through here, to upload a letter of support as well. But they need to complete the application. So I'm trying to get to that end point where they can upload it. They can upload right here an optional recommendation form, but that is not required, a recommendation letter. They need to complete the actual application, the actual form we have here. So we're going back to the application now. All right. Going forth, you put your name in. You put your Penn ID and your Penn email that's preferred. If you don't have your Penn email yet, you could put your regular email. We will have to get your Penn email if you get hired so we can be able to communicate anything with you. Penn ID, it is important that you have that information. Without the Penn ID or your email, you would not be able to apply to the position. We only consider individuals who are planning to attend Penn. If you are not to make that decision yet, you cannot apply to the GA position. You continue filling these forms out and you click forward. You list out where you went to school, your undergrad, more information here. Who are you? Year, if you're a current student or not, or a current GA, not. Have you been an RA or GA at another institution? Say yes or no. I'm going to say no to move forward. And here are the essays, related student leadership and life experiences. Here's where you can write about your experiences and how it relates to the position. Talks about leadership, outside all the academics, what all the obligations you might have for the year. The next part is the residential interests. As we are a college house system that composes of 12 houses, each of our houses have a different feel and experience, but do have commonalities with the populations. And so you have an option of being able to put here of listing your preferences of what type of communities of students you like to work with. If you have no preference, you just click no preference and you can write down in the bottom the reason why. If there are certain preferences like first year, upper class, 4-year, you can do that and put multiple options in here as you go along, and then you will describe your interests. This is not in a ranking order. It may seem that it's 1, 2, 3. It is just showing your interests. And so, and understand this is just a guideline to help have an idea of what you're interested in and what students you like to work with. Moving forward is modern language program interest. If you have some language fluency, just ask that because we have one house that is looking for GAs who can support their program community. And then you scroll down, program communities, optional to complete this part. Each of our houses, there are communities that focus on different aspects of identity, leadership, or social issues and the college experience. You can identify if you're interested in any of those positions in those program communities, but if not, you can skip this session. You can review information regarding PCs at this link. And then if you go down, you can see drop-down options will list all the different communities that we have. The position, not all program communities are hiring positions. They may be listed here, but if you're interested in a PC to be considered for that, you can go ahead and show that demonstration. This does not restrict you from applying, like that you're applying for the RA, the GA position generally. This is just to show more interest. All right, I see some questions, and Ebonice, I'm answer those. All right, so one of the questions is, if you submit letters interest in a particular community house, does it preclude us from being selected from another? And Ebonice said, no, it doesn't. Another question that came in is, can a recommender be a fellow graduate student? I'm going to let Ebonice answer that as I continue on with the application. So then we get to the end part of the application. You have the attachments. You need to add the letter of application, your letter of interest. You can add it here, click and drag. Then you add your resume, click and drag. I do want to make sure that you make sure you put your full name within the document and last name on the title of the document. We've had individuals just upload forms that I'm not sure who they belong to. So please make sure that you name and title your documents appropriately. Then you also will attach your signed graduate academic program approval form here. Again, your application will be incomplete without that form. And then you just sign off here that they're okay to do that. Actually, and let me go through here and actually do some attachments of items so I could show you the end part. And then here's the little script that you will send to your recommender. that you would just copy paste and send it to them so they can understand the process. And then you would type their names in here so that we have some information on them as well. You're going to go forward and then you'll just sign with your mouse here, sign right off, and then you will submit. And that is the application. So we're going to go back to the presentation screen here and continue on with the questions and answers section of the presentation. So going back to the question about can a recommender be a fellow graduate student? So Eboniche has posted, yes, they can be a fellow graduate student. As long as this person can speak to your leadership capabilities, I have candidates submit recommendations for one of current or former GAs, and that is perfectly fine. So here is the time that you can post some questions and for us to be able to engage in those questions. Hopefully we provided you some great information. I do want to show you, as we wait for those questions to come in, go back to our College House website. Here, you can see a lot of information about that college houses. As a house reaches out to you, you can learn more about it. Here's the PC information. Gives you a sense of idea of like what do we have in each of our houses, the types of program communities, themes, student design, and course communities. You can see down here we also have signature programs. That is part of our operations, what we do. I'm going to go back here and over here on the left side in the beginning part overall, you can see all our different college houses, information, the four-year houses, which means that all four-year academic standing students live there. First-year houses, first-year students, and then upperclassmen. That does not include first-year students living in those houses. Some other common questions that come in from other info sessions or overall, and I'm going to just the FAQ section of our application so I can just go over some of those questions. So some common questions that appear is what are their housing options for married, partner, and families? Because as a GA, you receive a rent-free single occupant furnished room. Some houses do have limited number of rooms that have multiple spaces. So as such, those are the only houses that can accommodate a spouse or a partner. Those would be Du Bois, Harnwell, Harrison Hill, Gregory, Louder, and Roden. Oh, I see some questions coming in. All right, so one question was, can you discuss how students new to Penn go about getting the advisor approval form? Excellent question. And so it's important for you to have the support of your academic department when pursuing a GA position, since the GA position will be your highest non-academic priority. That is why the academic form is part of the completed application. So usually you download the form and then you would reach out to the academic department that has admitted you, the program usually coordinator or an admission person from that department. If they have not assigned you an advisor form, you can explain to them that you're applying to be a GA and you need this form to be completed in order to apply. And then they would make that decision. They will make the decision if they will let you approve you to go through this process or not. I do want to give you a heads up that some departments do not support students becoming GAs because of their own graduate programs are so intense. So that's why it's important that we do this form up front so that no one is surprised at the back end if you're not allowed to be serving in the GA position because of your academic programs. Great question. Keep those questions coming. Let me go back to FAQs. Another common questions that people have is about time commitment. So it's really hard to quantify the type of position, our type of positions, because you are living in the residence with residents in the college houses on the floor. An average size floor might be maybe 20, 25 students. You might get the smallest is 7 and the biggest might be 36 residents. And so knowing that you're living with students, there are times, day and night, questions are being asked. You're putting on programs, you're attending staff meetings, you're having one-on-ones with your house dean. You might be participating in a training session. So it's really hard for us to say, like, specifically here the number of hours you would be working on. Well, we kind of average that 15 to 20 hours a week that you might serve in some capacity. We do know, and we tell everyone, that August and September is the most critical time of the year, and that you'll be spending a lot of time of your energy establishing your community and helping get your house started. But we do know that kind of backs off mid-September, October, as everyone starts getting established. They know their routines, and then you have your routines with serving on duty, attending meetings, and getting to your classwork. Some other information regarding the GA position is that the GA position the contract is 1 year. So it starts in, this date's all off. I got to fix this date. It should be 14th, not the 24th. The 14th, August 14th through the 31st is our orientation and training process. And it concludes the second day after commencement in May. So usually that's at 18th or 20th. And if you're a non-returning GA, you usually have until June 1st to move out. There's often information here regarding about what it means to be on duty, and training and orientation information. It is required to attend trainings. These are critical information that you need in order to understand your position and the university, and trainings are required as mandated by our department and the university. Okay, good question that came through. Is the Wharton MBA program supportive of candidates being GAs? So Ebony's responding, it could be more or less Ebony's was responding to some of regarding what we're talking about time commitment, and then we'll go back to that question. So Ebony's was adding about, depending on the time of year, it could be more or less some weeks, it balances out. Also, time would be impacted by student population, the needs of a first-year student versus upper-class students, and then, of course, the time of year. And then let's go back to this question about, is Wharton MBA program supportive of candidates being GAs? I can't speak on behalf of different individual academic programs. You need to seek that information out from your academic programs. You need to understand that there's hundreds of different academic programs, and so for us to kind of know which one's approved or not, it's too hard for us to manage. So that's something that you would work with that department and ask them. We have had graduate students from Wharton, and so, but I cannot speak on behalf of your specific of what program you've been admitted to. Great. Another question asked, I wonder whether College House is still open for the fall, considering the ongoing COVID pandemic. What if the university locks down next semester? I do want to remind everyone right now, the university is fully operational, just that as our classes are online. We have not closed the university. All offices are working. We're working a lot of hours, everyone in all the departments. And so if the university decides in the fall, whatever decisions they would make, that would be something that would obviously impact the GA position, because the GA positions are residential. So that really depends on what is occurring as a university, and we have no information other than we are continuing on. We are planning to be open, and our students are signing up for housing right now, and will be assigned housing in May, and they'll get their assignments in May. Good questions. Keep them coming. One thing I didn't review is, what is the GA interview like? Each house dean has a different type of interview strategies that are unique to the house. So some houses might have just maybe one time to have a phone conversation with you, or a Skype information, and maybe have a second screening information session with you. They might have the house coordinator or the faculty involved. Some other houses might have a group process that they run online. So you might have different experiences in each house. So it really is going to be different depending on the feel of that house and their participation. Obviously, that everyone's working remotely, will be conducting all interviews virtually. Another question that comes up is that if I have multiple offers or been offered or interviews from houses, you have 3 business days to consider your offer before making a commitment. If you decline one house, does not mean that you are taking out of the pool. It means that you just want to decline that house and you will still stay active in the pool unless you tell me otherwise that you would like to be removed out of the pool. There's additional information down here as well. Most of these are now actually not outdated for this year because, for example, summer staff opportunities for this summer conferences. Usually, there's conferences and hospitality services that provides. They usually have some employment opportunities. Obviously, this summer, as we're going online, there are no summer camps or summer conferences, so we won't be having that, but all classes are online. But usually every summer there's some opportunities for students to work during the summer. And if you need any accommodations regarding ADA or other accommodations needs, you just need to follow this link that will help you understand how to apply for accommodations. Ebonish added regarding the interview process, House Deans, as a common courtesy, would love if candidates will let us know if they're canceling an interview and if you receive an offer and accept it from another house. So that just helps us so we're not wasting time with our just sitting here waiting for a phone call to come in. So it's just care and consideration. We always refer people to our career services website. I can bring that up, but your university usually has a career services website regarding proper etiquette for interviewing and follow up with candidates, with interviewers, thank you notes, such information. Remember, this is a position, and so as such, every action that you have sends a message about who you are as an individual. Oh, that's a great question. So I got posed the question, I will not receive the results of my application until May 8th. Do you think there might be still positions around that time? That's why our timeline is May 22nd. We know that programs have often late admissions. And so usually we are filling our positions up right until May 22nd. Last year we finished around that time period, and so we concluded. So that's the time period. So I probably will make the same assumption that there will be some positions still available because of just the way that the timeline works with academic programs. This is a great question. I'm going to let Ebonish answer that as I continue. I'll show a couple of different things on our website as she'll get that question, and then we'll pose it. Let me see if some more information would be good. We'll click back up here. All right. So our website has tons of information for you to review. One of the recommendations always is that if you're scheduled for an interview, it's important for you to go to a house and review information. So we're going to go and check out Ebonish's house, Fisher, Hessenfield. When you click on here, you'll have some information regarding the size of population, where it's located. So Fisher is part of the quad, which is the iconic quad pictures that you see all over our university. Tells you usually like the type of rooms, accommodations that we have. And then you can see additional information here regarding the coats of arms and some highlights of like their specific programs that really makes them unique and the program communities that exist there. You can see down here the staff that live in our faculty. We have a faculty director, and then we have usually 2 house fellows that oversee some program communities, a house dean. We have Ebonish, who's here, and then the house coordinator who oversees the administrative processes as well as the house. Each of these websites has an additional link to the actual house website. And you go there, you find great information regarding each of the house. So you click on information, tells you information about their house, their philosophy. If you click on the Fisher Hastingfield Way, it tells you great information about the 3 tenets of the belief that that house runs by. It also tells you the people and individuals in the house, and then the services and policies, additional information. So we always recommend before you do an interview, go check out the College House website for more information so that you're prepared for your interview. So one of the questions posed is, do GAs collaborate with other GARAs for event programs? Ebony's responded, yes. This may look differently for each house. Some houses have program teams. We do in Fisher to plan evening house programs. We encourage our RAGAs, our RAs and GAs, to program across houses as well. So I oversee the RAGA advisory board, and often that is a representation of each house. They often do some programming across houses, such as tickets to 76 games, renting out the movie theater for a premiere, maybe a social event in the evening. So we highly encourage cross houses collaboration in programming as well within the house. So question poses, may I ask about the admission rate? I'm presuming the question is about the ratio of applicants to positions hired. So I can only use numbers from the past couple of years. An average would be 2 to 1. So if we have about 50 positions open, we have 100 applicants. We have usually two candidates per position. So you might have a 50% chance of being hired. So that's really a hard number to give you and provide because it really depends on the amount of candidates in the pool. But that's been the kind of the average 2 or 3 to every position available for the last couple of years. You're welcome. Additional questions? Well, if you don't have additional questions, I do want to remind everyone that if you do have additional questions, check out our FAQs, but also you can email us at AskRaga. Let me go back here to the screen. AskRaga@list.upenn.edu. That you will get a response usually within 24 hours. You always could check out our website for more information, and I encourage you to apply. If you have any questions or concerns, again, you reach out to us, and we look forward to your application. So thank you, everyone.